Hello, my friends. Welcome to Bedtime Stories with Melissa. Tonight, we're going to read Rapunzel by the Brothers Grimm. It's a story about a girl who is locked away from the world and taken from her parents. But when she finally makes a friend, they prove that you can live whatever kind of life you want to. So settle in, grab your coziest blanket, and let's begin. Long, long ago, there lived a husband and a wife who longed very much for a child. Behind their home was a beautiful garden filled with fresh herbs and flowers. It belonged to a powerful sorceress, and no one dared enter it. One day, the wife looked out the window and saw a patch of vibrant green rampion growing in the garden. She suddenly felt an overwhelming craving for it. "I must have some," she told her husband. "If I don't, I feel as though I might die." Her husband loved her dearly, and although he was afraid, he climbed over the wall that evening and gathered some of the rampion. But as he was leaving, the sorceress appeared. "How dare you steal from my garden?" she demanded. Terrified, he fell to his knees and begged for mercy. He explained his wife's craving and how desperate she'd been. The sorceress considered this, then said, "I will allow you to take my rampion, but in return, you must give me the child your wife will soon have." With no other choice, the husband agreed. When the child was born, the sorceress came to take her away. She named the girl Rapunzel and raised her as her own. Rapunzel grew into a beautiful child with long golden hair that shone like sunlight. When she turned 12, the sorceress locked her away in a tall tower hidden deep in the forest. The tower had no door, only a small window at the very top. Whenever the sorceress came to visit, she would stand below and call, "Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair." Rapunzel would unbraid her long hair and lower it from the window, and the sorceress would climb up. One day, a prince was riding through the forest when he heard a soft, beautiful voice drifting through the trees. He followed the sound until he found the tower. Hidden among the trees, he watched as the sorceress called out and saw Rapunzel lower her hair. The next day, when the sorceress was gone, the prince stepped forward and called, "Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair." To his surprise, the golden braid fell from the window. He climbed up and found Rapunzel, who had never seen anyone else before. At first, she was frightened, but the prince spoke gently, and soon she felt at ease. They talked for hours, and over time, they fell in love. The prince began visiting her often, but always in the evening. One day, Rapunzel said, "I wish I could leave this tower. It feels like I've never truly seen the world." The prince promised to help her escape. "I will bring a length of silk each time I visit, and you can weave it into a ladder." But one day, without thinking, Rapunzel said to the sorceress, "Why is it that you're so much heavier to pull up than the prince?" The sorceress's eyes flashed with anger. "You foolish child," she cried. In a rage, she cut off Rapunzel's beautiful hair and sent her far away into a lonely wilderness. Then she returned to the tower and waited. That evening, the prince arrived and called out as usual. The sorceress lowered Rapunzel's hair. When the prince climbed up, he found the sorceress waiting for him. "Your Rapunzel is gone," she said coldly, "and you'll never see her again." Heartbroken, the prince leapt from the tower in despair. He survived the fall, but the thorns below blinded him. For years, he wandered the land searching for Rapunzel. At last, he heard a familiar voice, soft and sweet. He followed it and found her at last. When Rapunzel saw him, she ran into his arms, and her tears fell into his eyes. And in that moment, his sight was restored. Together, they returned to his kingdom, where they lived in peace and happiness for the rest of their lives. The end. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. I'll be back real soon with another video. Right now, I'm going to let the music play for a few more minutes to help you fall asleep. Sweet dreams.